All right, welcome to the call, guys. And if you're on my team or my list, you were privately invited tonight, and I appreciate and want to respect Mr. Clark's time. One of the things, and I guess I should give you some history. I've actually heard, the very first audio I heard was Magic of Colors by Jerry Clark, and that really opened up my eyes to the different personality types of people out there, right? And we are in the quote-unquote network marketing business. You're going to deal with people in all aspects of your business. I don't care if you're in a traditional business or if you're in a network marketing business. We are dealing with people. And in life, what I've always seen is personal development has really allowed me to break through to the other side, and I've connected really well. Back in 2010, I actually got to meet Mr. Clark live at an event. It was an internet marketing convention, and we got to hang out, and you guys saw a picture of that earlier on my email or a post on Facebook inviting you here tonight. And really what I wanted to bring him out for was to educate folks that I care about. And folks, if you really know who I am, you know, I tend to bring a lot of value, and I hope that you guys really see the benefits of this tonight, because my intention is really to have you understand what my wife and I saw when we actually bought a product from Mr. Clark, and we got educated on the coaching call on how to improve our business better, not just financially, but also structuring the way we do our time and manage our time. And really, you can't manage time, but you can manage yourself. And I was introduced through Jerry Clark by a coach that I hired named Jeffrey Combs, who, if I understand correctly, you were also coached through Jim Rohn, who was one of our personal favorites as well. And I see a lot of Jim Rohn in you, Jerry, and I don't know if that's by accident or not, but you're just a really humble dude, man. So I really appreciate you coming out respectfully, and I know you're a family man, so we got to respect your time as well. So thank you for coming out tonight.
Awesome. Definitely my pleasure. I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate the invite. And so, yeah, thanks for the invite. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So should we get right into the questions, or?
Sure. Yeah, let's go right to it.
Okay, perfect. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in. I'm looking at the box here as well, or if it's on Facebook on the post, you can I'll be monitoring both. But I have a few questions here that we put together. So let me pull up that sheet here. Okay, so it's interesting because I had no idea you actually ran your own arcade in your bedroom growing up, charging your friends a dime for playing games. When I was listening to the audio, I'm like,
you're listening to a program.
yeah, I was listening to the program. I'm like, oh wow, that's so you I guess you've been an entrepreneur really since a young age, right?
Absolutely. That adventure that I started. I was young. A lot of people where I lived, because I lived in the ghetto area of the town, and so a lot of people where I lived did not have the money to buy one of the new Atari arcade games. Some of you who are listening right now, you might not be old enough to remember Atari when it first came out, but it was a really big hit. To have any type of arcade game back then, and it was probably, I don't know, $100 or $200, not a whole bunch of money, but that was a lot for us and for the people that lived around in my neighborhood. And so what happened is one Christmas, I told my mom, I said, look, there's only one thing I want. This is the only thing I want, and everyone who's going to purchase anything for me, if they're going to buy me a gift at all, just tell them Jerry wants one thing, and all you have to do is whatever you're going to purchase for him, just give that money, to her, so that way she can accumulate it and buy this Atari game, and maybe have enough money to buy 1 or 2 or 3 Atari video cartridges for me. Back then it was cartridges, and so she did that, and I was so excited because all the people in the neighborhood, all the kids, I told them, hey, I got this Atari game. They were all excited about it. I said, it's going to be 10 cents to come over and play a game, 10 cents a game. And they came over. I had all kinds of kids over there paying me 10 cents to play this Atari game, and it got so big that my mom shut me down eventually. So but that was my first venture into entrepreneurship. It was a lot of fun.
That's amazing, man. And I connect with that really well. I mean, a lot of folks know my story. As a matter of fact, I was at a garage sale, swap meet, I believe, and found a Atari 2600, and I bought it and fixed it up and to flip it, basically. And so I connected really well with that story. So I wanted to kind of break the ice with that story. Carla, my aunt brought out the Commodore 64. I actually used to own a Commodore 64 and a VIC-20 as well, and I remember those days. I don't know if you remember those computers.
Oh, yeah, the Commodore 64 was the very first computer that I actually got, and then after that I picked up an Apple IIc.
Nice. What attracted you? And I remember our conversations. For some reason, this stood out to my wife and myself. This story that your grandma always wanted you to be a doctor. I believe it was your grandma. Is that correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then you decided to pursue this industry, network marketing. But I believe you're still, if you haven't already completed your doctorate, right?
Yeah, you know what? That's interesting. I never even thought about it that way. I mean, that is very, very interesting what you say, because I never really thought about it just as far as the pursuit of the doctorate degree. My grandmother, who's since passed a while back, she always wanted me to be a doctor because she wanted me to have a great life, and she felt, based on her programming, that the way to do that is to become one of these professions like a doctor or maybe a lawyer or something like that. And so I remember on her deathbed, really, when she was passing, when she was dying, I remember sitting down talking with her, and she was saying, one thing I want you to do is just make sure you become a doctor. Everything's going to be easier for you. Life's going to be better for you, and so forth. Because we grew up in the ghetto, and so becoming a doctor, was something of amazement to be able to do that. And I remember thinking, there's no way, I'm going to become a doctor. I mean, that's just not going to happen. But I didn't want to tell her that, but I'm not going to become a doctor. And so, I mean, if people, looking at the screen right now, one of the things that you'll see is, let me see if I can go to the next bill here, is that, so here's a little bit of my story. I was born in a garage in 1968. We moved to California, and I was born in Mississippi. And we moved to California when I was 7 years old in the ghetto. And this is the area that I grew up in. I got a paper route when I was 9 years old. Started working for a 7-Eleven when I was 13 years old. And then I went to college when I was 18. Now, the reason I went to college is because everyone said that's the key to success, is you got to go to college and get a good job, and you're going to be successful. So that's the reason I went to college. Now, I wasn't going to be a doctor. I knew I wasn't going to be a doctor. That wasn't going to happen. But I figured I'd go to college so I can get a good education. And then what happened, now here's what happened. Here's how I got into direct sales. So the way I got into direct sales, it wasn't a plan. It wasn't something I had, preordained or something that I figured out I would do. Is I came across direct sales by reading a booklet that a friend of mine gave me. And he gave me this booklet, and this booklet had concepts and principles in there that was written by a guy who was in direct sales. Now, I didn't know, or direct sales network marketing. I didn't know anything about direct sales industry or network marketing industry. I never heard anything about it, so I had no clue what that was all about. And they were not talking about direct sales network marketing. They weren't mentioning those words. They were just talking about some key insights and some key principles, and I was getting really excited about those concepts. So what happened is I actually found the person who wrote the book, and I went to a facility that had their name at the top, this guy's name, and I went in there and I asked, do you have any more books that I can buy? I bought this book. This thing was awesome. Or I got this book from a friend of mine. This thing was awesome. I want to know, has this guy written any other books? And so that's when they told me that, hey, why don't you take a look at what we're doing? It sounds like you don't really know what we're doing. I said, no, I don't really know what you're doing, but if you got some books, I want to buy it, And so what happened is they showed me the next day. I went to a briefing, a business briefing. I saw and I was introduced to network marketing for the very first time. I was 19 years old. I got started in the business. I was really excited. By the time I was 20, within 1 year, I was earning over $10,000 a month. And by the time I was 22, I was earning over $20,000 a month. By the time I was 28, I was earning over $100,000 a month in the business. And basically what happened since that time, I mean, I became a multimillionaire by the time I was 30, but what happened since that time is a lot of people have wanted to know what's the secret, what are some of the things that I did to allow myself to accelerate and to be able to create the results. And that is what I decided to commit myself to starting back in the mid-'90s is when I decided, you know what, I'm going to actually answer these people's questions. I'm going to share with them some of the concepts that I believe made a big difference. And if they want to eliminate commuting themselves, if they want to fire their boss, if they want to destroy their alarm clock, if they want to be able to have, the life that I've had the opportunity to have. I mean, I've been self-employed through network marketing and direct sales my entire adult life. for, was it 20, oh my goodness, so many years now, about 27 plus years, 28 years. Wow. And I haven't had to work a job or anything like that. So, it's been a really great journey for me. And so that's one of the reasons why when you asked me to get on the call here, definitely am interested in being able to share some of these insights with people that are listening.
And I'm just curious, and I'm sure this is the question that most folks ask when they wonder if that's the company, if that's the right product for them, are they 100%, involved? What was that for you while you're going through your beginning stages? Just out of curiosity, how much time did you spend on your daily business, on a daily business? Was it 7 days a week? Was it 6 days a week? How did that work out for you?
Yeah, that's interesting, because back then I was doing a lot of other things. So network marketing wasn't the only thing I was doing. Remember, I was in college still, so I was in college full time. Also, remember, if you take a look at number 4 on this list of my story, I was working at a 7-Eleven store still. So I started off at 13 years of age. And by the time I got to college when I was 18, I was managing the store. I was making about $1,500 a month, and I was still working at 7-Eleven. So I'm still working at 7-Eleven full-time. I'm going to college full-time. I have a newborn kid a year later by the time I was 19. So now I'm a newborn, now I'm a parent full-time. I get an apartment for my family, and I get a car, for my family, get a couple cars, make sure that we have the cars and so forth. And I'm working full-time at the 7-Eleven store, and I am an economic development specialist at an economic development corporation in that city, and I'm teaching martial arts at the college that I go to. Wow. So I'm doing all of those things. So it wasn't one or two things I was doing. I was really doing a multitude of things. I think I was doing too many things. Fortunately, I was young. I had lots of energy. And so my body, took it for a number of years. But when I was 21, I burnt out. I was just doing too many things. By the time I was 21, I completely burnt out. And I was in a hospital. I had tubes stuck in me trying to, get fluids back in my body. And so I went from earning over $10,000 a month to by the time I was 21, I was broke again. But I got back on the saddle, and by the time I was 22, I was earning over $20,000 a month. And so, for me, as far as how much time I put into my direct sales networking business, it was probably a good solid, 12 to 15 hours a week. I just didn't have too much more time other than that. But with 12 to 15 hours a week, I was able to create a 6-figure income within a year. And let me tell you why. Cesar, this is really important for people to know, because people hear that and go, oh, my goodness, how are you able to do that within a year? And what I want everyone to understand is the way I was able to do that is because even though I only had about 12 to 15 hours to devote specifically to my direct sales network marketing business, the one thing that I did is, number one, is the time that I did have to devote, I made sure I focused on revenue-producing activities. So I focused on doing the things that would produce results. And the way I knew what would produce results is I simply talked to the leaders, the other people who were producing results. I just figured out what they were doing. I figured it wasn't up to me to try to change everything. I figured let me just do what the producers are doing, and then I'll get the results. And they basically told me the key things that they were doing to get results. So I figured, okay, I'm going to focus on those key things. There's a lot of other things that are not so key, but probably are important to do, but I want to make sure I do those things in non-revenue producing time. So when I engage in revenue producing activity, I'm going to engage in revenue producing activity and revenue producing time. And what I mean by that, if I have part of my 12 to 15 hours, if it's 7 p.m. in the evening, I'm not going to kick back and take a bath and relax and read a book or whatever. I'm not going to do that during that time because that's still revenue producing time. So that's what I want everyone to know. It's not how much time you have to devote to your business. It's what you do within the time that you do have. That's going to make a difference, number one. And number two, it's the consistency that you allow yourself to create that's going to make a huge difference. And, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I just want everyone to understand the consistency within whatever the time you have. And if you are engaged in revenue-producing activities in the revenue-producing time, I'm telling you, I don't care how much time you have, because I know most of you got jobs, you're working, you got other things going on, and you're looking at this as a way to generate additional income and maybe eventually get real good at it so you can really, you know, fire your boss one day or whatever. And what I want you to understand is that you can do it without 40 hours a week. Please don't think you have to put in 40 hours a week. That's ridiculous. And, you know, if you have to put 40 hours a week into this business, then you're probably not doing something correctly. Now, that doesn't say that there's not going to take any work and effort and time. And some weeks it might take you more than 12 or 15 hours. You know, you might be able to squeeze 20 hours in here and there sometimes. Or some of you may only have 7 to 10 hours. What I want you to know is that whatever time you have, if you engage in the activities that will produce results, you will produce results. That's the key that for you to understand. But you have to be consistent, and that's another key for everyone to understand.
Wow, powerful, man. That's that's exact. You know, I can kind of relate to that story because you know, I didn't have a huge breakthrough of $100,000 per month, but you know, we did clear $17,000 launching what we have here with our eBay business within 72 hours. And someone asked me, you know, how did that happen? How were you broke a year ago? And I think I already had the skill sets, I already had all the tools in place, and the personal growth and personal development, and all I had to do was just apply it. And sometimes it's one of those times, and I don't know how you felt during that first breakthrough that you had when you were like, you know, like you mentioned, broke. But it sucked for us, you know, and we had to make something quick, a quick change, and I had the pressure from my wife to make something happen. So thanks for sharing that story.
You know what, Cesar, it's so interesting you say that, because I want everyone who's listening to understand something. During that time, you had hired me to do some coaching with you, very minimum coaching. It wasn't a really big thing, but it was some coaching. Maybe you bought a package of mine and you got a little bit of coaching or something. I forgot how it worked. The bottom line is that I want everyone to understand is you were really down and out at that time. You were really, you know, I'm not going to get into the details, but what Cesar just said, how he was down and out, and they were really at the right up against the wall and right at the edge, trying to figure out how they're going to pull this off and make something happen. And then the next thing you know, with the inspiration, desperation, whatever you want to call it, Cesar finds a way to create results in a very unique fashion that a lot of people were making money already, but he found a unique way to be able to pull it off and connect it with the right people to be able to put some things together and get certain software and everything put together, and boom, you know, that type of money being made in that shorter period of time. Some people go, whoa, I wouldn't mind earning $17,000 in, you know, a few days or something like that. Well, no one's saying that it's going to happen overnight for you necessarily, but what we're saying is that it's possible because it's available and it's out there and people are doing it. So you should ask yourself the question, you know, other people are doing this, why not me? Other people are generating all kinds of money. I got friends that are full-time selling stuff on eBay. I mean, full-time, that's what they do full-time, and they generate six-figure incomes, and they basically are doing exactly what you guys are doing, you know, we're being taught to do. They're doing the same thing. It's just they figured out a system. They're working the system. They're being consistent, same type of things you guys are learning from Cesar, and they are generating, I mean, this is how they're taking care of their whole family. I mean, driving around in Cadillac Escalades, got nice homes, nice vacations with family. They're just, as a matter of fact, one of the guys I'm thinking about getting ready to go to Disney World with his family, and all this stuff is from selling stuff on eBay. I mean, it's just amazing the type of money some of these people are making doing that. It's amazing.
I think since you know, I remember being coached with you, and that was around 2010, right in the main breaking point where we had to make a decision. And I remember having a conversation with you, and I think something stood out. And if I remember correctly, it had something to do with the effect. And I don't know if you subconsciously told me something. I remember it was at that point where I started making decisions like I got to stop focusing on linear incomes, which is like I was doing DJing, I was working part-time jobs, and I was doing all this stuff that was just a bunch of noise in my life. That we even downsized. And I remember when we moved out in 2011, we moved out to the mountains to really kind of refocus, re-engage, and it was at that, I don't even know what you want to call it, but I had like this spiritual breakthrough, man, where it was like, okay, I got to apply everything that I was taught. You actually mentioned, if you remember correctly, I don't know if you remember, but you said something to the effect that you will make things happen at the right point, and things will start to come in place without even trying too hard. And that, I don't know if you want to call that intuition, your higher power, but everything just started happening. And,
right. And here's what I want everyone to understand. I mean, what you're saying is just right on, because what I want everyone to understand, if you take a look at the screen for those of you in front of your computer, I got this concept that I wrote down, this thought. It says, empowering conversation without deliberate integration is a key cause of massive frustration. And so what happens is that a lot of people, like you and I, we were engaged in these conversations. And obviously, if I'm doing some coaching with you, it was empowering conversations. I'm always looking to focus people on, what's possible instead of what's impossible. Focus on the, what could be instead of what is in many instances for a lot of people. And so these empowering conversations that we had, you started to integrate some of those concepts. And you not only started to integrate, you actually started to contemplate, you started to marinate on them, you started to actually, take action and allow a lot of this stuff to occur for you. And so I want everyone to understand that empowering conversations, we can sit here and we can have these conversations. Cesar's asking me all these questions. He's going to ask me more questions. We're going to get into a lot of great information that's going to be able to benefit you. But if you just hear the information, just listen to the information, and you don't allow yourself to dig deeper with some of this information. In other words, jot down a key concept that really stands out for you, something that you feel can make a big difference for you. Go ahead and jot that down, and that way when the call is over with, you can figure out, what can I do to really integrate this particular information? Because one concept, for those of you who are looking at the screen, is called the shelf life of an idea. And here's what I want you to know about the shelf life of an idea, is that I was listening a long time ago, probably when I was about 18 years old, one of the programs that I listened to when I got into personal development, this was even before direct sales, is a program by Earl Nightingale. It's called Lead the Field. Lead the Field is an awesome program, and I was listening to the program. I listened to it over and over and over again, and one of his audios in there, he says, one idea can make you rich. One idea can make you rich. And I got so excited about that idea. I was like, man, one idea can make me rich, really? And I just started thinking about that, and I was just like, wow. And he went on this whole 30-minute conversation or something about this concept of one idea can make you rich. And so later on, I thought about, you know what, there's a shelf life of an idea. The reason why most ideas don't make most people rich is because, number one, 99% of the ideas that you get are the same ideas you had the day before, and most of those suck, okay? Most of them are no good. And again, there's like a part of that 1% that's left where you're getting, probably 2 or 3 really good ideas that might come your way every day, actually. About 2 or 3 ideas a day that might come your way. But here's what happens, is that most people, since they're so inundated in ideas that don't make a difference for them, those 2 or 3 ideas just go right over them. They never even capture them for a moment. And so what I want you to understand is that anytime something comes your way that you feel, oh, man, that just hit me in a certain way. Oh, that was something. Oh, my goodness. You want to extend the shelf life of the idea, okay? So I'm talking about here, every idea has a shelf life, and this shelf life can be extended. The way you extend it is you deliberately choose to extend it by taking some kind of action on that idea, even if it's just writing down the idea. That's an action of some sort. You might write it down. You might put a star or a couple stars down. And then after the call, for example, you might call someone else that you know and tell them about the idea, someone else you know who's positive and excited and going for big things in their lives. And you might tell them about the idea. That's extending the shelf life of it. You might teach it to someone else. I mean, that's extending the shelf life of it. I mean, and then you might take a specific action tonight or tomorrow or whatever that you can do to take a specific action to help extend the shelf life of that idea. But all I want you to know is one idea can make you rich. Now, when I first heard that, I thought, okay, that sounds nice and that's cute. And I did listen and I paid attention to it, but I didn't fully understand how powerful it really was until a number of years later, a friend of mine gave me this book. He gave me the book. He gave me a $20 book, and I flipped through the book. I didn't read the whole book. I got tons of books. I got over $300,000 worth of books and audios and home study courses, big library and the whole 9 yards. And so I don't have time to read every single book that I get or audio course or home study course for that matter. But I flipped through this, and there's one page that caught my attention, so I stopped at that one page, and I read that one page. Now, that one page happened to be a whole idea that the author was attempting to give. It was one of those books where it's like, 200 ideas or whatever, and every page is a new idea or whatever. And so there's this one idea that jumped out at me. I stopped. I read the whole page because I got excited about it. And in that same year, I earned an extra $250,000 in that same year just by implementing that one idea. And that one idea, to this day, has earned me millions of dollars. That one idea from a $20 book that I didn't even buy, that I only read one page from. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, shouldn't you have went back and read more pages? Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. I mean, I might do that now. After all these years have passed, I might go back and read the rest of the book. But all I'm saying is that one idea can make a huge difference. Do not underestimate the power of an idea. That's what I want you all to understand.
Mm-hmm. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. You want to continue with the questions, or did you have a?
Yeah, no, go for it.
Okay. If you lost everything today, Jerry, how would you get? What would you be? How would you start all over again? I guess that's a great question someone asked. If you lost everything.
Yeah.
How would
if you lost everything, how would you start? Okay, and I'm assuming that I do have the knowledge that I have now, so I'm going to assume that that is the case. So if I lost everything and having the knowledge that I have now, I believe that the industry of direct sales network marketing is the simplest way to really generate substantial income in a relatively short period of time. And so obviously I would personally take the knowledge that I have accumulated over all these years, and I would, get engaged with a direct sales opportunity. And I would, number one, find out how to operate within that system and not change things around, just really find out how to operate in it. And then I will also allow myself to fully engage in that system. I would create myself a nice plan, and my plan would involve this. So here's basically what I do. So I would get my plan, and the plan would be based around, number one, because I will start over thinking, how do I want my life to be? I will start thinking about my lifestyle and everything. How do I want my lifestyle to be? Because that's going to determine what I end up doing. That's why I would end up picking a direct sales or network marketing opportunity, is because it gives me that lifestyle of not having to get a job and not having to do all this type of stuff. So it gives me that lifestyle of being able to call my own shots and do what I want to do, and be able to have my own time to figure out what I want to do. So that is my lifestyle. So that's the reason why personally I would get engaged in a direct sales opportunity, number one. And then I would say, look, I'm going to just plug right into the system that's already in place. That's number two. And then what I would do is I would say, okay, so now since I plugged in to the system, I'm going to make sure that I create a daily method of operation. And so how I would create the daily method of operation is, number one, I would set goals. Okay, now my goals would have to be based on it would be value-based goals. In other words, a lot of people set goals, and the goals are in conflict with their values. And so what I would do is I would identify my core values, my top core values, and for me, my top core values are continuous improvement, number one. Number two, it's contribution. And my third core value from continuous improvement and contribution is in freedom. That's one of my main core values is freedom. So I would say, okay, so I know I want to be free. I know I want to contribute. And then creativity is another, and will be in the top four. And I want to create. So I want to create, I want to contribute, I want to improve. And so those are my core values. So everything I do as far as my goals, I make sure that it's in alignment with my core values. So let's assume that my goals are in alignment with my core values. So now what I have is I would have my, and let me see, I'm going to show you guys actually. Let me see if I can just show you guys. I'm going to go pretty.
And I appreciate you sharing your core values. And are those really, do you believe those are tailored towards every individual's personality, or is that something that can duplicate amongst others? As far as core values.
Yeah. So, so core values, I believe that core values really stem and they can change, by the way. I mean, people's values do change over time as far as the hierarchy of their values. But I think a lot of it really just has to do with people being able to connect and recognize what's really important to them. And so let's take a look at this, though. If you take a look at the screen, for those who are on the computer, it says how rhinos close the gap. In other words, close the gap from where we are now to where we really want to be. How do you do that? This is my achievement plan development sequence. So this is basically what I would make sure I do. So I would have my goals. Let's say 2014, I would set my goals. You know, I got my opportunity, so I know what I'm about to do, direct sales. I'm plugging into that. I got my goals laid out now, but my goals are based on, you know, these values and this mission that I have in life, right? So that's going to inform my goals, my strategy, my plans, my daily method of operation. All of that stuff is going to be informed by my values and my mission, my vision, and all that. Okay, and so I would have my goals, and then my goals. Once I have my goals laid out, I would create a strategy, and a strategy is simply what's the best way that I know of that could allow me to actually have these goals become a reality. That's what a strategy is. So when you're putting together a strategy, you're saying, look, here's how I think would best allow me to be able to have these goals come to fruition. That's what a strategy is. Now, so you got this strategy. Now, what you do is you got to break it down into different quarters. That's what I would do. So I would have, say this is the second quarter now, so I would obviously for the rest of the year, I would have a Q2 90-day plan. So I would create a 90-day plan for the second quarter, 90-day plan for the third quarter, a 90-day plan for the fourth quarter, and that plan, I feel, will allow me to move myself closer to these goals, okay? Now, from these 90-day plans, I will break it down into a weekly action plan. So I will break it down to a weekly action plan, and then the weekly action plan, if you see those little things behind the weekly action plans, these are daily method of operation. Now, I'm going to tell everyone a secret. Now, this is a secret that if you don't get this, then you're going to be out of luck when it comes to creating success in this business or anything else you do in life. So I want you to pay close attention, but especially in this business, especially with what we're doing. Here's the main secret. See, I have chalked this achievement plan sequence down to the basic DMO, which is the basic daily method of operation. Now, the reason why it's important to get very clear about a daily method of operation, and when I say daily method of operation, maybe you take Sundays off. So maybe part of your daily method of operation is, you know, you're going to do ABC on Monday through Saturday or something. Sunday you're going to take off, or whatever your game plan is regarding your schedule. Okay, this has nothing to do with, when I say daily method of operation, I'm not saying that you have to work every single day. That's not really what I'm saying. What daily method of operation means is that whenever you are going to work, you have a consistent schedule. You have a consistent plan. That's basically what that means. But here's the secret part of it. And I've noticed this after 28 years of being in this business, after earning millions and millions of dollars myself, but also seeing other people that I personally coach, or other people that are just friends of mine that maybe I never coached, but they're good friends of mine. They've made millions and millions of dollars. And I want everyone to understand, these are people that have no business making millions and millions of dollars. In other words, some of you may think of yourself as, how in the world can I make millions and millions of dollars? He doesn't know my story. He doesn't know what my background is. He doesn't know where I've come from. He doesn't know, no one thought that I can amount to nothing. He doesn't know how hard it's been for me, whatever. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter, because whatever your story is, I can share with you someone who has a story worse than yours and who have created magnificent success in their business, in their personal and professional life. So just keep that in mind. But here's what it all boiled down to. This is how these people did it. And you even mentioned Jeffrey Combs, who back in 1991 when I met Jeff is one of those people who got this down. Every successful person got this down. Jim Rohn, the late great Jim Rohn, who's a good friend of mine. The late great Jim Rohn had this down. Everybody who's massively successful, all the people that you look up to in this business or in any other business that are creating results in this industry, they all have this one thing in common that I'm about to share with you. Every single last one of them. Okay? So here it is. and it all has something to do with what you see on the screen for those of you who are looking at the screen. I know some of you may have just called in or something, but if you're looking at the screen, it has something to do with this, and especially what it has to do with is this daily method of operation concept. Every single last one of them created something, what I call a rhythm. They created a daily rhythm. And this daily rhythm, this is a rhythm. This is like you're having a process that you engage in consistently, and you get used to engaging in it consistently, and you allow yourself to engage in it consistently to the point to where you know what it is you're supposed to be doing. You actually got your process mapped out of the best way to go about doing it. You have the resources that's going to be required. You know what those things are. And you have the tools that's required. You know what that is. And you allow yourself to engage in it and get a rhythm. See, I want you to think about this. It's like when you're in this business, it's like you're on the dance floor of life. When you're on the dance floor of life, if you get on a dance floor and you just stand there, you don't have no rhythm. You're just standing there. You're supposed to be dancing, supposed to be moving of some sort, but you're just standing there. And if you're standing there and not doing nothing, no one is going to really reward you for that. I mean, they're not going to be excited about it. They're not going to throw money your way. They're not going to do none of that stuff. Now, you start moving. Okay, I know I just made it sound like a strip club or something, huh? You start No, that's not what I mean. You guys understand what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay, so listen, but here's what I'm saying. This is just an analogy. I want you to keep this in mind. You start moving a bit, guess what? You're going to get some hecklers. You're going to get some people to say you're crazy. You're going to get some people to say, oh, man, I can't believe that person is doing that move over there. That move doesn't work. That move is horrible. I can't believe that. But you know what? You're also going to get some people saying, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting. Oh, wow, that person, I've been watching that person for a little while now. That person is getting better. I remember when they first started, it wasn't that good. But you know what? I was just curious because it was interesting watching them do something so bad for a while, but then they got better. And now they're good. And now let me go get some of my friends to even come and watch them. It's so good. As a matter of fact, I will pay to watch them now. And so I want you all to understand that this is just an analogy to say that after a while, these dance moves that you're doing, if you allow yourself to do these dance moves, you're going to get a little rhythm going. And your rhythm is going to attract some people, and it's going to repel some people. Some people are not going to be into your rhythm, whatever that is, but some people are going to be into it. Understand, we got about 7 billion people on the planet, and you're going to have some of those people who are into what you're up to, as long as they can see movement. If they don't see any movement, then there's no hope for you. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So this rhythm that I'm talking about, it's success will come and go with it. In other words, if you don't have a rhythm, if you don't create a rhythm, you're not going to have success. Not only in this business, in anything pretty much. I mean, even in your job, for those of you who got a job, guess what? You have a daily rhythm. You know, you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, have breakfast, you have the kids, send them off to school, whatever you do, whatever your rhythm is. Get in the car, you drive to. This is a rhythm. This is a routine, in other words. It's a regular thing you do. You typically do it regardless of what's happening, unless you're just horribly sick or something, where you almost can't go in for that particular day. But you typically go in, even when you don't want to go in. You typically go in still because you have a particular outcome in mind. And at first, when you first started that job, you weren't as good as you are now. After a while, you got pretty good at it, and you feel real comfortable doing it. But at first, you didn't. So it's the same thing in this business. At first, you don't feel that comfortable doing it. At first, it's kind of weird. At first, it's like, oh, man, am I going to get any sales? At first, it's like, oh, well, okay, what am I going to list? Oh, what kind of product is going to make money? Oh, why did that person make money and I didn't? We listed the same thing. I mean, all of these questions are going to be coming up at first. But if you keep allowing yourself to continuously engage in a process, then you're going to start noticing that you're getting better. Next thing you know, you got something. You're going to sell something. It's like, oh my goodness, I just sold something. And yeah, you didn't make a whole bunch of money on that, but hey, you sold something. Next thing you know, you sold something else. Next thing you know, for some reason, you're getting better at selecting what to sell. For some reason, something's happening. And you don't even know really why. You just know that you've been consistently engaging in the process. If you allow yourself to do that, I'm telling you, you're going to make money. Now, the better thing is that you're going to develop a habit. That's even better than making the money. You're going to develop a money habit. If you allow yourself to develop a money habit, and I'm telling you, allowing yourself to create a rhythm, for example, in this business, a rhythm, that's a money habit. Every single successful person that I know over 28 years in this industry, they all who became successful, they all develop a money habit, and this particular money habit is one of the ones that they develop. And so I'm suggesting that you allow yourself to do it. Now, it wasn't easy for every single last one of them. In other words, to develop that habit, it wasn't easy. They had to go through a process. They had to, allow themselves to, get better. They had to allow themselves to be bad for a while. They had to allow themselves to do that. And a lot of people, frankly, just don't want to allow themselves to be bad before they get good. And I'm telling you, it is worth it to be bad for a while in order to eventually get good. It is well worth being bad for a while in order to eventually be good. Now, while you're being bad, it help if you do have a job or something. Listen, I'm not going to lie. If you got a job of some source of income of some sort, you got to have, it helps to have some source of income coming in. So for those of you out there hating on your jobs right now, you're mad at your job, you don't want to go in, that's fine. That's understandable. But don't go around like just quitting your job until you got this rhythm down and this rhythm is producing money. So keep that in mind. Unless you got a few $1 million stashed away, I wouldn't recommend people do that. I want you to understand that you can, remember, I said 12 hours a week, 15 hours a week, 7 hours a week, 10 hours a week. Remember, I said you can build a business. You can build this business with that type of time, 7 hours to 15 hours a week. Oh, my goodness. If you focus and got a rhythm going with that amount of time, you can really do some great things. So I want everyone to just keep that in mind. Hopefully this whole idea of a rhythm is one of the things that you have written down and that you have told yourself that, okay, this is something that I'm truly going to make sure that I engage in, is this concept of creating a rhythm. So Cesar, there you go. It's all about creating a rhythm.
Wow, I've never heard it broken down like that, and I'm getting these epiphanies and thoughts because it's almost like I call it a vibration of a feeling, and I can kind of relate to that rhythm feeling, if you will. Everything kind of flows, and the questions that we all have, I think, as we're growing our business in the very beginning, I remember I was like, okay, where am I going to find my new prospects, the right people to talk to? It no longer becomes a question. It just kind of auto-magically appears at the right point in time, which leads me to my next question. If you were to get going, and we have a lot of folks, we have a network marketing component to what we do. Besides our eBay sales, we also have the opportunity to refer some members and be paid a monthly residual as well as an upfront commission up to tiered levels. What is your favorite source of use of traffic for your business? I know back in the 90s you didn't have the internet, maybe dial-up, but we still didn't have internet.
Right.
What did you use? Newspaper ads? I know. What are you? I guess I should ask. What are you using now that is your favorite source of traffic for your business?
Right. I mean, right now it's organic traffic, just because I've been around so long, and a lot of people just refer people to me. So that's
Sure.
pretty much is my favorite traffic because it's free. But it takes a lot to really pull that off, and it takes some name awareness out there, and creating value out in the marketplace for a while. But as far as traffic, generating leads and so forth, I mean, there's a lot of ways to generate leads. You got traffic is one thing, generating leads, so it's kind of like another thing. It can be derived from traffic, of course. But there's a lot of ways that people can, generate traffic. Now, number one, if you want to generate traffic, first of all, you have to understand, what traffic do you seek to generate? In other words, you really have to be clear on the type of traffic that you desire. That's number one. But number two, you have to have this process for when the traffic shows up, what are you going to do to monetize the traffic? See, here's the problem with a lot of people, is that you hear all this talk about traffic, and people generate traffic, and they go ahead and learn how to generate traffic. But what they don't learn is they don't learn how to monetize the traffic.
Correct.
And so,
Correct.
in other words, you got to have a sequence of what are you going to do once the traffic shows up. So whether the traffic has come from article marketing, whether the traffic has come from blogging, whether the traffic has come from ad swaps, or whether the traffic has come from solo ads, whether the traffic has come from doing advertising on Facebook, whether the traffic has come. I mean, there's a multitude of ways that you can actually get traffic, but the key is that once the traffic starts to come your way, what do you have set up? What kind of system or process that you have set up that can allow you to be able to monetize it? So, for example, you got a website. Let's say you get someone that comes to your website. Okay, so what are they going to do when they come to your website? What do you want them to do, right? And so let's say you have a squeeze capture page of some sort, and you have, okay, well, what's going to encourage them to give you their email address? And so let's say you decide to come up with some kind of a report or an audio or a video or something that you feel could be of value to this specific type of traffic, that you're going to encourage them to get that particular item and give you in return the email address and the name in replace of that. Okay, we call that a lead magnet. So, I mean, you got to just have your, what I'm saying is you have your system. So now let's say they gave you the email address and so forth. Now what? What do you have set up? Do you have an autoresponder campaign already set up or not? These are the things that people miss. They get this traffic. I've seen people do it all the time. They get all this traffic, and then they don't have, they don't know what they're going to do once the traffic shows up. So what you want to do is make sure you know what you're going to do when the traffic shows up, but don't let that be your crutch to keep you from actually attempting to get people to show up. Because a lot of people say, well, I don't know what to do, so I'm not going to get, or they say, I'm not good, so I'm not going to get people, I'm not going to get people to show up. So here's where it all boils down to. I got to share this with everyone. It all boils down to, if you really want to eliminate community, destroy your alarm clock, fire your boss, and earn at least a six-figure income for the rest of your life, one of the things I'm going to suggest you do is master what I call the success triangle. So let's go back here next. Let's go back here. Previous. Hold on a second. I am not doing this. Let's do this. Hold on a second, because I want to show you guys this. Okay, so here it goes. Let's show you this. All right, so now you see my screen. Let's go next. Okay, so you master this success triangle and you will have it all. Now, when you see the success triangle, you see there's three angles on the triangle. They got something called IC on the bottom, which stands for internal communication. You have something called EC on the left-hand side, which stands for external communication. And then you have something called TK on the right-hand side, which stands for technical knowledge. All right, so now what I want everyone to understand, and by the way, thanks Marlene for answering the question, to Ross for what is DMO, that's the Daily Method of Operation, so thanks for that, appreciate that. And thanks for some of the comments there from Matthew and Marlene and so forth. Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. You guys got some great comments and questions and so forth. So, but let me just share this with you guys. So the success triangle, I want to, we can't get off the call here until I make sure you understand this, because you got to understand. This was the thing that took me to $100,000 a month and more, okay? It was this right here, the success triangle. I mastered the internal communication, which is obviously how I communicate with myself. I mastered the external communication, which is, of course, how to communicate with other people. And I mastered the technical knowledge, which was the specific techniques or skills that were required to be successful in my particular industry, which was direct sales network marketing. I chose to master all those things. And what I want you to understand is that if you're going to master anything, it takes four ingredients. It's going to take some time, it's going to take some energy, it's going to take some frustration, and it's going to take some change. So in other words, it's going to take time. Now, how much time it takes you may take a little bit different time than someone else, or whatever the case is, because everyone has been through different life experiences. It's going to take you some energy, which means that it's going to take you going through the process of working smart and doing some hard work also. You heard about working hard. You heard about working smart. It's going to take you effort. It's going to take you resources. That's all part of energy. And I think Matthew said energy, money is created or something like that. Well, yeah, money is energy, right? Money is flowing all around us already anyway. It's a matter of how we can magnetize our consciousness to attract a certain amount of it to ourselves. And if you allow yourself and I spent years and years and years studying this from the perspective of the personal development self-help giants, but also I spent many, many years living this. And I saw that, wow, there is, there's something to this. Because when I started to use my mind in a certain way, I noticed I started getting results. And I noticed that there's a way to program your own mind so that your consciousness, this whole concept of us being energy, think about that for a second. If we are energy, and most of you can buy into this energetic concept because you've been around people where you get a weird vibe, you've been around people where you get this awesome vibe, just the vibe, the energy. There's something going on that is just more than just looking at matter. There's energy going on that you can't necessarily see, but it's permeating all around us. And money is part of that whole equation. It's just a matter of, if we are vibrating at a certain level, we're going to attract a certain level of money based on that vibration. And so what we want to do is we want to always learn. This is one of the biggest reasons why you want to always engage in personal development. You want to always engage in allowing yourself to inundate your subconscious with empowerment. You want to allow yourself to do that on a consistent basis, because if you allow yourself to do that, it's going to start to change the vibrational structure of your whole consciousness. And what you emanate out there from an energetic standpoint is going to determine what comes to you. Let me share this with you. I remember I used to always just imagine, like, one day making $20,000 a month. Like one day, man, I would make $20,000 a month. Ooh, I'll be set, right? And so what happened, and most of you know, $20,000 a month, you're not rich or anything like that at all, right? I mean, that's probably like middle class or something or whatever. But I remember just thinking, man, if I can just get to $20,000 a month, I used to remember that was so big for me. It was so out there and so forth. And I remember when I got it, when I started generating on a regular basis, I was like, man, what's the big deal? It's not that big of a deal. But let me tell you what allowed that to happen. What allowed it to happen is during those years that I wasn't earning that type of money, I hadn't yet developed a consciousness that could consistently attract that type of money. And so here's what I want all of you to know now. What I want you to know now is that it would be very difficult for me to not make $20,000 a month. I mean, it would just be very difficult. Even if I tried to, it would be very hard to just not do. I mean, it's very, very tough just because of investments and everything now. But I'm talking, forget the investment, okay? Forget the money that automatically comes in because of my interest and bond payments and stuff like that. Forget all that, because that brings me more than $20,000 a month. So let's forget that, because that's probably not a good example for me. But what I want you all to understand is that I'm talking other ways even. I'm talking other ways. I don't even really attempt to generate the $20,000 beyond investments, but it still happens every month where that is like real low if I make that. I mean, that's just horrible almost to me. And so what I want you to understand, why is that the case now when back then it wasn't the case at all? I used to think like, oh my goodness, could I ever get there? It's because what I did between then and now is I've elevated my level of consciousness through a process of engaging, saturating myself with empowerment. That's what I did. So I got rid of as much disempowerment as possible, and I put in as much empowerment as possible. That's basically what I did. And I turned around and created products and programs around that whole concept. So I tell people, look, you want to learn about the mind? You want to learn how the mind works? Great. Here's a program. And I give them a suggestion of a program that I have, like Creating Magic, for example. I say, okay, boom, get that program. It's going to take hours and hours and hours of stuff that I learned, and I consolidate it into 4 audios, and I put it there. Oh, you want to learn about external communication, how to be more effective with other people? Boom, here's this program, Magic of Colors. Oh, you want to learn about how to be successful in direct sales and network marketing? Here's a 2-day seminar I used to do, High Achieving Network Marketing. Because allowing yourself to learn this information and saturate and integrate this information into your consciousness, that's the stuff that allowed me to produce a lot of results. And look, I know that we're going to have some questions. There's a couple more things I want to share too, so hold on, everyone. But here's what I want to make sure I do before we get off. I want to make sure I do this. Now, I didn't know that I was going to do this, so that's why I don't have it all laid out probably as perfectly as it could be. But let me show this to everybody real quickly. Here's what I'm going to do for all of you who are listening. You guys have been awesome, and we still got a little bit more if you guys can hang in there. I'm just taking you to my website, which is clubrhino.com. So for those of you, you go to clubrhino.com. You don't have to do it the exact second, but clubrhino.com. Let me do, there you go, clubrhino.com. Now, this is my website, and here's what I'm going to do for you guys, and then we're going to get right back into it because I want to share some other information. There's a link here that says downloadable products. This is a whole list of products that we have that are downloadable. We also have non-downloadable products as well, CD products, for example. But I want you to go here because I'm going to do something very, very special for you guys tonight. I wasn't even planning on doing this, but I'm going to do something very special for you tonight. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and pick up this program right here called Creating Magic. This is the art of designing your destiny. It's, hold on a second, not that one. This one right here, Magic of Colors. Yeah, this one right here, Magic of Colors. This is what I want you to pick up, Magic of Colors. Now, Magic of Colors is and you guys are very lucky here because this price is not supposed to be this price. This price is higher. It's supposed to be higher than this. So this is a mistake. But since it happened, I'm going to allow it to happen anyway since I started the process. So if you guys go pick up this program, Magic of Colors, now what the Magic of Colors is going to do, it's going to show you how to be more effective with other people. So you go ahead and do that. Just pick up this program right here. Don't do it yet because I'm going to share with you the secret of that I'm about to go ahead and do for you guys that's on this call tonight. What I'm going to do for you, you're going to pick this up for this price, $37. Now it's going to be a downloadable program, and you're going to get a download link, but only put this in your shopping cart, okay, unless you just feel like paying for other stuff, because I'm going to give you some free stuff. And here's what I'm going to give you for free. I'm going to throw in this Creating Magic program for free. So this is my 4 audio program that goes over how to understand and utilize your mind for results instead of having your mind be the thing that defeats you. A lot of times your mind is the thing that does it. Why don't you take the action you know you're supposed to take is because of what's going on in your mind. How do you change all that? How do you, utilize the technology that will allow you to make those shifts? And this program right here, the Creating Magic program, which is also on a crazy special, you're not going to have to pay for that one. We're going to automatically give you Creating Magic. And look at what else I'm going to automatically do for you. I'm going to automatically give you this program too, which is High Achievement Network Marketing. So you're going to get the High Achievement Network Marketing for free. It's going to be thrown in. This is $50 right here, which is a great special. It's $150 normally. This is my 2-day seminar that I've conducted all over the world. As a matter of fact, it shares with you. People have also come from all over the world to help me, to hear me do this training right here. And these 3 programs, the reason why I want to give you these 3 programs is these 3 programs make up what I call the success triangle. And the success triangle, if you allow yourself to master the success triangle, the only thing I ask you, because this is a very, very inexpensive way of picking up the success triangle, you're paying for 1 product, which is the Magic of Colors, and you're going to get 3 programs. I'm going to give you Creating Magic. I'm going to also throw in High Achievement Network Marketing. Why? Because I want, number 1, to introduce you to my programs. For those of you who've never heard any of my programs, each of these programs that I just mentioned are all multi-million-dollar sellers on their own, very successful, is what I want you to understand. And I want you to, if you want to really go into information on how to master your internal communication, I want you to go into the Creating Magic and listen to that. If you want to learn how to master your external communication, I want you to listen to Magic of Colors. And if you want to master the High Achievement Network Marketing, technical knowledge, and want to hear more insights in that as far as even how to get more leads, all of that, because I talk about that a lot in this program, High Achievement Network Marketing. So you only purchase Magic of Colors. Once again, just purchase that for $37. You're not going to pay any shipping or nothing because it's downloadable. You're going to instantly get a link that's going to give you the download link to this product. But when you're checking out at the shopping cart, you're going to add this to your shopping cart, and then you're going to start putting in your information and so forth. At the bottom where it says comments, all I want you to do is you can just put Cesar's name, just put Cesar. If you just do that, or just say you were on this call, you listened to this call, if you just say that, just something so we know, we will automatically send you an email. It's going to come from my assistant. Her name is Sarah Davis. She will send you an email that's going to have your link for this program, Magic of Colors, just in case you didn't get it. And she's also going to give you a link to Creating Magic. and she's going to give you a link to go download High Achievement Network Marketing. So you're going to get those 3 links so you can go download those programs. So once again, you just go to clubrhino.com, and then you click on downloadable products. I guess if I were to take you straight to Creating Magic, oh no, I'm sorry, Magic of Colors, which is this program right here. So if you want the straight link, I'm going to go ahead and put the straight link right into, that's the link right there that will take you straight to the Magic of Colors. Only order that one, but in the comments, just make sure you mention that you were listening to this information, and we're going to go ahead and allow you to receive that. Now, I do reserve the right to renege this program at any time, just in case someone's listening to this way, way long time from now. If you go, you're going to more than likely see a higher price for this, and I'm not going to guarantee those specials. Okay, so that's. I appreciate. I don't want to trap myself. I don't want to trap myself into having to guarantee the special forever, but I will do it for a certain period of time for everybody who's listening right now. Now, with that said, Cesar, did you want to say anything? Because I know that we're going a little bit over on time, but if anyone has a question, I want to make sure if anyone has a question, I do want to answer it. And Carla, you're welcome. Barbara, you're welcome. Let's see here. Jimmy, you're welcome. Nancy, you're welcome. Marlene, you're welcome. A lot of people here are saying thank you. So I appreciate you guys being on the call, and I appreciate so many people being excited about this personal empowerment. This is the information that changed and revolutionized my entire life. And I'm so excited that I have the privilege of sharing with other people in over 35 countries all over the world for all these years. I used to travel the equivalent of 7 times around the world each year, sharing this information with live audiences. And now I pretty much sit at home and relax with my kids. So, hey, thank you, Rufus. I appreciate that. So if any of you, let's see, someone says, hold on a second. Okay, someone says it says $67 for some reason. Let's see. You know what? You may have gone to this. This is what you probably did. You probably went to CD Products, and Magic of Colors is $67. That's what you did. So what you want to do is when you go to clubrhino.com, if you just went straight to clubrhino.com, click on this one that says Downloadable Products. Click there. And then you're going to see the downloadable version of Magic of Colors, and you'll see that that's $37. Or you can just go ahead and click on the link for those of you who are watching and you see the link. You can just click on that link. It'll take you straight to the $37 one. Okay? So, yeah, if you got the physical, if you bought the physical version, it's going to cost more. So that's why these are the downloadable versions of the same product. So it's the same material. J.C. Hernandez says he just placed his order. So you're welcome. Sarah is very good. She typically stays up to 11 p.m. or midnight. So I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't get your email, whoever's placing orders, if you didn't get your email by tonight. If it's not by midnight, then it's going to be in the morning. So you guys, please give her up to 24 hours to send out the emails, but more than likely you'll get them tonight, because she typically stays up working until about midnight checking orders and things like that. Just because we have orders come in from all over the world and there's different time zones, so she likes to make sure that she gets people their extra links as soon as possible. Okay, George, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. George has a question. What would be the single most important, never to forget advice for those with little success? George, that was a great question. Okay, a couple things. Let's see, I went straight to your side at the beginning. Okay, great. That's great. All right, so here's the deal. The single most important, never to forget advice for those with little success. And by the way, I'm going to share this with you too. If you guys want to ask a question verbally, there's this hand button that you see above the chat. If you keep going up a bit, there should be this hand. This is where you can click on that and raise your hand. And that way you'll be able to actually ask your question if you want to do it that way, or you can type it just like George's did. So George, here's what I would say is the single most important, never to forget advice for those with little success, is that the people who've already have created the success, they started out as people with little success. And so let me break that down just a little bit for you. what I want you to understand is that there's nothing really all that magical about people who are creating major results. I know a lot of you listen and you hear about people earning $100,000 plus a month, and it sounds like a lot to some of you. And don't get me wrong, $100,000 a month is reasonable money. It is reasonable, okay? But what I want you to understand, and I've earned as much as $600,000 in a month. So, trying to give you a little bit of perspective. But here's what I want you to understand. $100,000 is good money. I'm not going to say it's not. But what I want you to understand is this, is that now that I have had an opportunity to work with countless numbers of people that are, many of them started out broke, and a lot of them are earning six figures and seven-figure incomes right now. I have some students that are earning so much money, it's absolutely amazing as far as hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. But now that I know them very well, and I know a lot of some of the biggest people out there in the industry, and here's what I can tell you is every single last one of them, the only thing they thought in their mind at some point it got in their mind that someone is going to generate a substantial amount of money. Why not me? And for every reason they can come up, why not them? There were people who had still done it even though they had that same reason and maybe even worse. And so I want you to understand that, number one. Number two, here's another piece of advice I'm going to give you, George. I hope you don't mind me giving you a little extra. Another piece of advice is this, is that the number one key for you to remember is you've got to be willing to do what it takes to be massively successful. Now, I want you to understand the key point to that. You got to be willing. That doesn't mean you're going to have to do what you are willing to do. This is the point that a lot of people don't understand. But you got to be willing to do what it takes to be successful. Now, of course, I'm talking legally, ethically, with integrity. Of course, all of that that's what I'm talking about. Of course, that's without saying. But what a lot of people don't understand is that if that willingness is there, what you are going to be surprised about is that you're not going to have to do as much as you were willing to do, as long as you really are willing to do it. There's something magical about that. I don't know how it works, and I don't know why it works. But let me give you a book for those of you who want to explore it more. There's a book called The Number One Secret to Getting Anything You Want in Life, or something like that. It's by a guy named Mike Hernacki. Okay? So a guy named Mike Hernacki wrote a book called The Number One Secret to Getting Anything You Want in Life. It's something, that title's close, but if you go to Mike Hernacki, Amazon.com, for example, and Mike Hernacki, you're going to see this book, this little book. It's a little small book. And that book, the whole book talks about that concept I just mentioned to you, and it's awesome. It's a great, great little book. So keep that in mind, and hopefully that assists you as well.
Can you repeat the title on that, Terry?
Say it again?
Can you repeat that title again? Mike Hernacki, small book?
Yeah, Mike Hernacki. So let me do this. Let me go to Amazon. I want you guys to, might as well see me go to Amazon right now. And let's type it in. So let's type in Mike Hernacki. Yep, Mike Hernacki in books. Okay, so here's the book right here. The ultimate secret. Let's click on this. The ultimate secret to getting absolutely everything you want. That's the book right here. It's $10 book. You guys, it's a great book. Almost everybody who's reviewed it gave it almost 5 stars, as you can see. So, yeah, definitely a book worthwhile reading. It's a little short book. It's not that big. It's not that long. But it explores in detail what I just mentioned to you. So just keep that in mind. Someone says, I do not see the comments area to place Cesar's name. There should be a comment area down there. And if you didn't see it, that's okay. If we see the magic of colors just came in, we're going to give it to you anyway, so don't worry about it. You will get the bonuses is what I'm saying anyway, because we know that more than likely you were on this call here since we're doing it like right now. And for those of you who are listening to the replay, that special will be available for a little while. But once again, if you go and see a different price, please don't call us and say, can we get that price? This is a special price I'm doing right now. I can guarantee it's going to be available right now. That's all I can say. It might be available for a day or maybe even 2 or 3. I mean, I don't know, to be honest with you. The price shouldn't have been that low in the first place. So we're going to have to.
I appreciate you doing that, Jerry. I know what it takes to create products, and I'm nowhere close to your success, and I'm really grateful for what you did here tonight for everybody, because I do care about my people's success, and I know you deliver. I mean, just from what I've already received from you, even if it's just 10% that I grasp from the standing on giants. I'm listening to that second, third time around, and on the shoulder of giants, and I really get a lot of value out of the quantum stuff, because I know we didn't have time to talk about that tonight, but you kind of delved into sections of that.
Yeah, and for everyone, I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, our prices are already priced very reasonable. If you ever go to our website and there's anything else you want on our website, here's what I recommend for you as far as if you're really looking at other courses that I'll recommend this program right here called The Magic of Influence. This is a $200 program. We got it for 71% off. It's only $57. I mean, these are good prices already. So, but this is a great product right here if you want to know more about external communication. I'm just going to give you a couple more programs for your future reference. So that way, if you're looking, let me go back and buy something else from Jerry. And to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons I give it to you for such a great price up front, because I want to make it easy for you to experience. This is another great product that Cesar just said here. It's called Insider Secrets to Making Your Fortune in MLM from people who've already done it. I mean, this is really great. It has Tom Big Al Schreider on there. It has myself, of course, Robert Butwin, Dale Calvert. This guy built an organization of over 60,000 distributors. Excuse me. You got the infamous Jeff Combs. You got Jim Rohn. You know, Jim Rohn, like I said, he was a good friend of mine. And Jim Rohn actually spoke at some of my seminars. I spoke at some of his seminars. So this is another great product right here, Insider Secrets. And then another great product is the Standing on the Shoulder of Giants series. And I think we only have a couple of them that shows up in the downloadable section right now. We're going to be adding more because we have like 10 volumes or something, and each volume has 8 audios. And this is a really great series. These are interviews that I've conducted with some of the most successful people out there in the network marketing industry and also in motivation. I mean, I've interviewed Jim Rohn. I've interviewed Brian Tracy. I've interviewed Mark Victor Hansen. I've interviewed Les Brown. I mean, all the personal development gurus. I don't know. I've interviewed probably everybody you can probably imagine that have created something magnificent in their lives. And so, Cesar's going to be getting interviewed soon. So, Cesar, just keep in mind that don't be surprised if we do a Standing on the Shoulder of Giants interview with you sometime soon. So keep that in mind.
I appreciate that.
So anyway, you guys, if there's no more questions, let's see. Thanks, Jerry. Thanks for the birthday gifts to yourself. I love it, Garth. That's awesome. And you're welcome.
If I may, Jerry.
Just take one good idea, Marlene. You're correct. And Matthew, I'm glad you got a chance to order yours. And a bunch of John here mentioned some stuff here. Yeah, John, it's my pleasure to be on this call. I'm glad Cesar called me as well. You guys are fortunate to be working with Cesar, because what I can tell you is, like I said, Cesar is one of these people who, he's like, it's just so amazing to me to see the transformation that took place in his life in a very, very short period of time. Now, that doesn't mean it seemed like it was short to him, but from the time I was speaking with him and how he used some of the information and went on to make some transformations in his life and make some very important shifts in his life is absolutely amazing. I think that is the type of person that you're going to want to plug into, because they're like fresh right in the trough. They're right there. And it's just such an amazing thing. I'm really excited and proud of what Cesar has done and what he's continuing to do. So thanks again, Cesar. I appreciate you inviting me on. I'll let you say the last words. If there's no one else has any questions or anything. And Barbara, congratulations. I got your message here. Paul, you are very welcome. And Nancy, you are very welcome. I'm glad you were able to get yours as well. You guys are going to enjoy the material. If you're trying to think, which one do I listen to first, just think about this. It doesn't really matter which program you listen to first, to be honest with you. But if you want to get into the mindset type stuff, that's the Creating Magic program. If you want to get into the external communication, how to work with people more effectively, that's the Magic of Colors. And if you want to get into more of the technical how-to type stuff, as far as network marketing is concerned, then you're going to get into the High Achievement Network Marketing. But what I tell people is that any of those programs really you can start with. It doesn't matter. The main thing is I want you to listen to all three of them, though. Okay? So whatever order you want to choose is fine, but just make sure you go through all three of them. All three of them, the total is 22 audios. It's about 22 hours of training that you guys picked up for $37. So someone said that they already have magical colors, and they bought it again. Marlene bought it again. Marlene, it's worth it to buy it again. I'm sure you would agree to that. It's a really great program, and I'm not saying it just because I created it, but it really is. And that type of information, just so I can tell everyone, that type of information, I literally invested over $50,000 just in the information about the external communication. I invested over $50,000 before I even wrote the program, is what I'm saying. So at this point, I've invested way more than that, but just on the information about personalities and behavioral styles. So I take this real serious, is what I'm saying. And I think you'll hear it in my programs. And like I said, everyone should be getting an email from Sarah Davis. It's going to come from, the email address is going to be clubrhinoservice@gmail.com. That's where the email address will come from, clubrhinoservice. Just so you can be able to look out for it, and just so you can look in your, if you don't see it by tomorrow, look in your spam folder just in case if it went there, or look in, you know, some of you got Gmail and so forth. They have like promotions folder nowadays. They have, you know, different, like 3 different folders I think up there. Look at one of those folders and make sure if it's there somehow for some reason. So, and then you can drag, if it's in one of those other folders, you can drag it into your primary folder. So anyway, that's how that works. So anyway, hey, you guys have been awesome. And thanks again for inviting me on. Cesar, I'll let you go ahead and close up and say the last words.
Thank you a lot, Mr. Jerry Clark. I really appreciate your time and added value. And again, that's a killer deal. I didn't expect you to do that, but thank you, for that. So guys, like Mr. Jerry Clark said, there's going to be even 10% of what you listen to that audio. Obviously, there's a lot more value in there, but if you just receive 10%, and that helps you in just getting on the right track of justifying what's important in your life, time-wise, and activities, and dare I say, fire some of those negative friends or TV shows that are affecting you right now. That's what I did. I unplugged, if you will, from the quote-unquote the matrix, all because of the information that you're about to receive. And so, with that said, thank you everybody for being on tonight. This call is being recorded, so you can play back for replay, because there's a lot of nuggets in there that you can apply in your daily activities. And thank you very much. I meant to ask you what was your most memorable moment with Mr. Jim Rohn, but we ran out of time, and you're welcome to share, Jerry, if you will. But if not, no big deal.
All right. I can say the most memorable moment really was towards the end of Jim Rohn's life. It was so memorable because it was so emotional. A group of us got together, and we secretly met with Jim Rohn. And these were some of Jim Rohn's top students, people that had learned quite a bit from Jim and had taken that information and knowledge and had created, I think everybody there had become multimillionaires, everybody. And so we all got together. We knew it was towards the end for Jim Rohn. We didn't go and announce it to a lot of people, of course. Jim Rohn knew what was going on. We created a video, a farewell video for him, basically. It was more like we didn't say farewell. It was more like just thank you, basically, and a tribute video. And we just got together and spent some time with Jim, and it was really a great experience. The most memorable overall, as far as it was just Jim Rohn, how so nice he was to me, and how for whatever reason he thought that I was a good enough guy to invest some time and some energy and so forth with, and I was so grateful to have those moments with Jim Rohn. So for those of you who don't really know of the late great Jim Rohn, obviously you can go to Amazon.com. You can look up Jim Rohn, Jimrohn, and any of his programs are really good. Any of his books, they're all going to be excellent books. He is also in that Insider Secrets program that I mentioned to you guys, which is this program right here. There's 2 CDs from Jim Rohn in here because 1 CD was not going to do it. We had to make sure 2 CDs worth of information, about 2 hours worth of information from Jim Rohn is there. So anyway, with that said, you guys, Lisa, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. She said it was super amazing. I definitely appreciate that. You guys have been awesome. Cesar, once again, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and I'm going to open up all the lines, and just you guys can all say goodbye. So let's unmute everybody.